Hey there, how y'all doing? This is Weapons Tech Mac coming to you from kind of a hot and humid, deep in the heart of Texas. Rain's finally stopped and things are drying out a bit, but now we find ourselves in kind of a Turkish bath. My garage is about 93 degrees and 93% humidity. So I'm going to try my best to stick through it out here. You can hear the fans and such going in the background. But tonight, the review I'm going to be looking at is a 1907 Savage Pocket Pistol. It's a 32 ACP. Now here's mine right here. I picked this up about a year ago. And it's a 1907 version. Serial number puts it at about 1914. But first off, I've got to verify that this thing is empty, so nothing in that. Nothing in that. Okay. So the story behind this pistol is pretty interesting. Very unique pistol, and in some ways ahead of its time. And we'll kind of go into that. But this is a very good functioning 100 and would that be 6-7-year-old pistol. Because I just took it out in range not too long ago and gave her a run. She's pretty accurate. And the sights are pretty basic. But there you can see Savage on the plastic or Bakelite grips. And it's just an interesting little pocket pistol. And I'll compare it with one of our more modern subcompacts today, and it's pretty close to it. And we'll look at some of the old advertisements that Savage used to advertise this particular pistol. One of the things about this pistol is this right here, the put it ahead of everybody else. And that is a sort of a double stack magazine. It holds 10 rounds. Then you got one in the tube, so you got 11 rounds with this little guy. Kind of interesting. One of the last gunfights, the Old West, was used with this. You tune into the Duelist, I think he talks about that. But I find this to be a very interesting relic of history that still works. And we'll kind of bring you in closer and take a little closer look at this guy. You can see the bluing's a bit worn, but hey, for 107 years old or whatever it is, yeah, it's 105, 6, 7, yeah, 107. It's still in pretty damn good shape. A little bit of wear at the end here. Now I take it apart and show you the strange way this thing comes apart. And this is not a hammer back here, it's really a striker. You have a safety right here. And the safety is also a slide stop of sorts. You need to use that when you're taking the slide off to clean it. But the safety is actually fairly easy, well, not so much to put on, but to take off, it's real quick and easy. So I'm very impressed with that. It has some slight striations on the side of the slide. They're not very aggressive. So if you got sweaty hands or if there's oil on the gun, it's going to be hard to pull it back. Of sorts, I mean. The sights, they're just milled right into the thing. You know, it's nothing fancy. But this is fairly accurate for what it is. Remember, it's a pocket pistol. So you're going to be shooting somebody within, I'd say, maybe 5-6 yards, if not a little closer. But I'll kind of tell you a little bit about the history of this guy. Remember, it's a 32 ACP. And 10 rounds plus one. Automatic, semi-automatic, single action pistol. History on it. The Savage Model 1907 is a semi-automatic pocket pistol produced by Savage Arms from 1907 until 1920. This particular model, now there were models that continued past that, actually into like 1928. Let's see how many were produced. Don't really have information on that right there. But actually it came from the Army asking for various companies to submit their designs for the new semi-automatic sidearm. Of course, the Army would eventually adopt the 1911 Colt. But Savage created a .45 caliber gun that looked much like this. Of course, it was full size, not a little pocket pistol. And when the Army decided not to go with the Savage and they went with the Colt, Savage, you know, I'm sure that hurt them financially, but they had some guys that were pretty smart and decided, hey, why don't we downsize this thing, make it into a little pocket pistol, and you know, that kind of helped give an injection of income to the company. Sure did a lot to help move them along, but let's see. Savage submitted to, in 1906, the U.S. Army trials to choose a new semi-automatic sidearm. After several years of testing, the Savage pistol was one of the 2 finalists, but ultimately lost out to the Colt. So it made it down to, you know, it was either this or the Colt. And of course, the 1911 goes on to history. 181 of these .45 ACP Savage pistols were returned to Savage, and then they were sold to the civilian market. Now, there are several of them still left. Of course, if you go to the Savage Museum, they have some of the original .45 full size of these guys. Now, the 1907 is sometimes mistakenly called a 1905 because if you look at the very top of the slide, see if you can see that, it talks about on 1905, it's at 7.62, which is 32 ACP. And some people mistakenly call it the 1905, which it is not. It is the 1907. All right, so that's the date when Albert Searle was awarded one of his firearm patents, which were the design of the Savage semi-automatic pistol. So that's about the time they came up with this idea. After they kind of failed out on the Army thing and they downsized to a small pocket pistol size, they had an advertisement that said, you know, 10 shots quick, the model 1907 Savage. The advertising included a number of early celebrity endorsements, including William Buffalo Bill Cody, Bat Masterson, and agents of the Pinkerton Agency. Savage Arms also presented Teddy Roosevelt with the 1907 model. Much of the advertising on this popular press played on the ability of otherwise defenseless women. So women are going to be some of the early customers of this pocket pistol. Now the design is rather interesting. It's very strange, and like I said, I've showed you the safety on this thing, and I'll show you the breakdown. But it's a very strange breakdown of this thing. The Mike 1907 uses no screws. Even the grips snap into place. It is simple to strip. The grips were made from a gutta percha, some sort of baked like plastic, I imagine. And let's see. Now this pistol is chambered in the 32 ACP cartridge, which was very popular at the time and considered a fairly potent round, with its 71 grain full metal jacketed bullet moving about 900 feet per second. It would penetrate up to 5 inches when fired into stacked 8 almost 1 inch soft pine boards from 15 feet away. Standard test at the time, so their penetration test was through a pine board. That was good performance compared to the other pocket pistols and cartridges at the time, like the 32 Smith & Wesson and the 38 Smith & Wesson. And we're not talking about, the 38 Special. 38 Smith & Wesson's a much weaker cartridge. Of course, the size of this thing, his barrel is 3 3/4 inches long. Overall length of the gun is 6.5 inches. Weight is 19 ounces empty. Of course, the grips are the checkered Bakelite plastic. Sights are blade front, indigo rear. Action is single action. Finish is blued. Capacity is 10+1. Now I'm going to take it out, or actually show you a comparison to one of the more modern day Micro 9s. This is my Kimber Micro 9 ESV, and you can see they're fairly similar in size and weight. Pretty close. I mean, the Kimber is an excellent carry gun, especially for concealed. Almost put it in your pocket. But there's your pocket pistol. Modern pocket, well, not really pocket pistol. I'd rather carry it outside or inside the waistband that I usually do, but just give you a look at the size of these two. But that's kind of an interesting gun we got there with this Savage model 1907 pocket pistol. All right, shoot a little Savage. Your safety up. There you go. The range is hot. Here we go. Victor tearing the Savage up. Hey, that's pretty good. Got them sights down. Not bad. Trigger's really good. I love that trigger. Woo! Well, the trigger on this thing is interesting. It shoots a bit low. The sights are like very minimal, but for a pocket pistol, that's 7 yards away. I'm hitting the guy, that's for sure. But here, that's not bad for a 114-year-old pistol. All right, so you pull it all the way back, set it with the safety there. Then what you're going to do is you're going to pull this hammer back as far as you can, turn it clockwise, and then pull it out. So you turn it clockwise, you pull it out, and there it comes. And you can see right down in the barrel there. And here's your firing pin right through here, and your bolt assembly right there. And so then you can clean stuff out. Rather interesting little pistol, to say the least. But that's the kind of the disassembly there. We'll leave it at that for a sec. All right, so now that we've got the bolt out, what we're going to do is we're going to release this safety slide stop, and then we're going to just let her go forward. Now this is under spring pressure, so as soon as you release that slide stop, have control over the barrel because it's going to come forward, come shooting forward. And then the barrel just kind of sits in there, notice, and there you go. So the barrel is just sitting in there right here. You have a notch where that barrel is going to be locking into it. And that's a pretty ingenious little setup there. Not bad for 114 years old. These were designed in 1905 and then started production 1907. Of course, you probably look at the history on that, and I'll talk about that. I talked about that in the previous section to this video. But there's disassembly of this guy. All right, so what we'll do is we'll put a little wrap on this thing. Again, just a very interesting relic of history. But it still works. It's a fun gun to shoot. It's a little strange, very unique in the way that you pull it apart and the action and that sort of thing. Very strange, I guess you could say, in today's standards, but it's interesting how the barrel locks in, how this little back cylinder twist, pull it out. But I'll show you that. I showed you that in the cleaning of this thing. But there's quite a few good reviews and disassembly procedures on YouTube with this. I'm not going to go into that really in detail, because you know, I don't take this apart but maybe once a year when I fire it once a year. But it's just cool. I want to hang on to it from my kids, my grandkids, even though I haven't had it for a long time. But as a historian, I think it's a very interesting historic piece. But I guess I give it a thumbs up. You know, the thing's, you know, 107 years old that still shoots. I could protect myself with this thing if I had to. And so yeah, interesting gun. So this is Weapons Tech Mac coming to you from deep in the heart of Texas. As always, God bless Texas. God bless the United States. And long live the Republic.